What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where we've just come fresh out of Gamescom day 1, and it was full of surprises and some really good ones as well. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let's get straight into it with the big announcement that they went straight into. Yes, Crossplay will finally arrive in November. It's finally coming, and they gave us some very good details on exactly how it's going to work. So they essentially said that everybody's going to be migrated to this brand new Crossplay environment, and Crossplay will be enabled by default. You can turn it off though, but only at the character selection screen. And with Crossplay enabled, you can encounter and play with agents from all supported platforms with whoever else has it enabled. With Crossplay disabled, you will only encounter players on your own platform. So that means if you've got it disabled, you won't see anybody else from the other platforms. Clans are all going to be migrated to the Crossplay platform environment as well, but don't worry, if you have it disabled, your clan stays exactly as it is. There's nothing to worry about, but it does mean that at that point, if you're playing on a Crossplay enabled platform, so they're all enabled essentially is what I'm trying to say, is that other people can still request to join or can join your clan from a PlayStation or from an Xbox, even if you personally are the owner of the clan and have Crossplay turned off. You can still allow agents in from other platforms. So say you've got a friend on Xbox, but for some reason you don't want to play with him, you can turn Crossplay off for yourself locally, but he'll still be able to be in your clan. And I assume that means you'll still be able to message and talk. They didn't really talk about that. But clan capacity is also going to go up from 50 to 100, which I think is absolutely awesome. That's been needed for such a long time. With the introduction of Crossplay, they're going to reset all of the leaderboards, something else that's needed doing for such a long time. And if you have Crossplay on, you'll see the merged leaderboards. If you have Crossplay off, you'll see your platform only leaderboards as well. So yeah, really good. And it also should make, and they did make a note to mention this a few times, it should make matchmaking much quicker and much easier than what it is now. They're really hoping that that makes a queue time improvement as well. Next up, another huge announcement. We got the name for the brand new Central Park DLC, and it's going to be called Echoes of Central Park. They gave us quite a bit of information on this, and I'm also going to flash up some screenshots and artwork that they gave us at the same time. But they basically said that we get a distress call and it's time to go to Central Park. But the reason why that's a little bit odd is that everything within Central Park was known to be dead. So why are we getting a distress call in there as well? They talked a little bit about the theme, that it's very dark and horror-like. They wanted it to basically have its own theme, very separate from the other DLCs that we have had in the past. And if you remember the wall in Division 1, it was just littered with dead bodies, and Central Park was used as a mass burial ground. And yeah, years later, it's our job now to go back, investigate that call and find out what exactly is inside. So we're not only getting Central Park, we're getting the Upper West Side as well. And there's a lot of people around there. There's a lot of people who are scared of the park. They don't really have the technology that the rest of the other areas of, DC and New York have got. They're just kind of, isolated and very scared. And they basically said as well, agents will need to investigate those reports, prepare for what lies ahead, and eventually enter Central Park. So that sounds like that's going to be towards the end of the DLC to uncover what has happened there since the outbreak. There was really cool artwork that they showed, especially one of the pieces. It had like a big chunga with a hunter style axe. So it does look like we're meeting a different variant of the cleaners, which I thought was pretty cool. And they did also mention that they're going to do a complete showcase for the Central Park DLC on September the 24th. And I kind of think that going back to the Crossplay announcement as well that they announced, and with this having the showcase, in September, that maybe all this is coming at the start of season 4. They did announce a season 4, which we'll get into just as well in a little bit, but it feels like that all this might be coming for the start of season 4, which is pretty crazy. And the September the 24th is not too far away. A couple of other nice things that they mentioned: this DLC is made by the same people that made Battle for Brooklyn, so let's hope for the same quality, because that was absolutely excellent. But they also mentioned, for the first time ever, once you finish this DLC, there's going to be some kind of new activity, some new endgame activity that's going to add replayability for the first time. So we're going to have a reason to keep going back to the DLC to enter the park, and new gameplay kind of identities with it. Next up, we got our first look at Season 4. So Red Horizon wasn't the end of Year 8, which that is what we've come accustomed to, 3 seasons. But for the first time, we are now getting a Season 4. And all they talked about was the return of the Black Tusk, and also that they'll be bringing their friends with them, the White Tusk. They won't be alone. Now, they did talk about this kind of with little bits of hints here and there, but essentially that this season is going to make everything a lot harder than what it is now. And they said that Season 4 will bring some major changes to several of Year 8's endgame systems. They talked about prototype gear and how that has been delayed from Season 3 to Season 4 for recalibration. And they said essentially we will need it when Season 4 rolls around to be at our most powerful, so that we can cope with the new challenges that they are bringing. They also said that escalations are evolving in Season 4. Season 3 addresses one of the biggest pain points by preventing tokens from being lost after a disconnect. There's more ahead, but in Season 4, agents will have greater control over the challenge and rewards of their escalations, while changes to mutators will also make them more consistent and predictable. So that was pretty crazy that we kind of got that information. Some of that was from the website. I don't think they actually talked about the escalation changes on the live stream, so you got a little bit of extra information there as well. Next up, we got the season information for Red Horizon. It starts tomorrow. It brings the cleaners to DC for the first-ish time. They come into the main map for the first time ever, which is going to be great. We're going to get a brand new kill squad, which I think was pretty great. And there's going to be cleaner activities around the map as well. They talked about it bringing the new pressure gauge global modifiers that we have seen in the PTS just a few weeks ago. And basically, they made an improvement to that, whereas if you're in a squad, everyone will get points to go into the pressure system, even if you don't get the kill, because obviously if you're a healer, then you really was going to be struggling in building that meter up. They talked about the Dark Zone getting 2 major updates following feedback. The Toxic PvE Dark Zone will now become a permanent part of the game, so the PvE DZ is definitely here to stay. And then obviously the introduction of the new blackout rules for one of the DZs, where everything, all no holes barred, basically, prototype gear can be used in there as well. Obviously, prototype gear has had some balancing around the augments, which I've not yet seen. I've not even paid any attention to them yet because we've not been able to use them. That happened last patch, but they did mention that as well, which I thought was pretty good. They also said stay tuned for some more information on a new seasonal event, but they didn't give any other information apart from that. With a new season comes a brand new classified assignment, where they showed us this artwork here. And they said for the first time, this classified assignment is not only going to continue the classified assignment storyline that we've been getting, but it's also going to tie in with the season. And as you can see, everything is pretty much on fire with cleaners. So it's a pretty safe bet we're going to be fighting the cleaners in this new mission. Just a few things from my notes that they said there's going to be new weather effects in the horizon, and they were going to intensify as we get closer towards the end of the season. And there's going to be lots of world changes incoming with that as well. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but they didn't really give any details on what it actually is. And that was pretty much it. It was great seeing Yannick, Alex, Leo and Anise on the screen all together at the same time. It did really feel great. I wish I could have gone to this. But yeah, big things starting tomorrow. We're going to get patch notes at some point today for the season that's starting tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have got Gamescom Day 2, where they've got a live over on Instagram for a Q&A. So you can ask questions and things like that. So I'll be tuning into that and I'll be dropping a video on that at some point tomorrow. And then we've got Gamescom Day 2, which is March into the future. So obviously that's going to have some information on survivors, we would hope, and hopefully they're going to announce year 9. They didn't even talk about that today, so definitely keeping us on the edge of our seats. That's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and as always, agents, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.